Everybody has some sort of concept or understanding of what they think probate is. Usually their idea of what it is, unless they've been through it's pretty far off as to what it actually is. But why don't you describe for the listener what is probate and what is it generally designed to do?
Sure. So every state's going to be different, but for the most part, there's some general principles. When somebody passes away, uh, something has to happen in order for their assets, their whether it's real estate or bank accounts, investment accounts, something has to happen in order for those assets to be distributed to the right people. And generally, that process is called probate. There's certain assets that avoid that altogether. That's where the trusts and payable on death type things come into play. But for anything else, it has to go through this probate process. And so in Arizona, it's the process of we have to go to the court and we have to explain to them all the information they need to know, whether there's a will or there's not a will, who's going to be the person that is seeking the authority to now deal with these assets, how are they related, who are the heirs. If there's a will, we've got to identify all the people named in the will that are going to be receiving assets. When there's no will, we identify under Arizona law who those heirs are. And so the court then there's different types, and we'll I think get into that in a little bit. But at some point, the court will then grant authority to somebody to be able to act on behalf of the estate. And that person in Arizona, we call it the personal representative. Other states call them the executor, the administrator, anything like that.
It's interesting. I think the public's general perception of probate is that it's a place to handle family fights, which of course that could be what it means, but that's at its most basic level, given what you just said, that's not really what it means at all.
No, no, it plays out that way sometimes, but um, generally, it's simple, right? It's going to the court and just asking for that authority to be able to distribute the assets to the family members, usually, and it sometimes it doesn't involve fights, sometimes it does.
Which makes sense because at the end of the day, while we cease living, our assets don't stop, right? They continue. That real estate that we own is still there.
Mhm.
The vehicle that we owned is still there, and our name's still sitting on that title. So it's really solving this legal quandary. How does Andy Fowler, who's on this title, who's no longer with us, execute it and deliver it to somebody else?